school in Camden.
Right.
All my kids were at school in Camden. We both live in Berrien County.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to get married after this. And it's like all together.
And I'll be honest, I don't mind being the second best looking guy on the show. It doesn't usually happen to me, so I'm okay with being the Robin.
Roger's good with being number 3.
Yeah, out of 2. Roger's number 3 out of 2. Well, I mean,
seen, not heard. No, heard, not seen. There we go.
Yeah. So, but no, it's a lot of fun, man. So I've appreciated meeting you guys, Jimmy, Chris, everybody.
Well, you started, and I don't mean to interrupt, and I apologize, but I was reading up on you a little bit.
So which part? The Lafayette Judicial Circuit?
No, not that circuit, but the wrestling circuit. And a funny story I came across was you have a wrestling name, is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
What was your first wrestling name?
So my wrestling name is still, I've used the same one, Mr. Saturday Night, Jared Michaels. Yep. I got the Mr. Saturday Night part honest. It's costed me a couple marriages, but still, I'm working on that part of me. I have won, for those people that don't respect what we do, it is a sport, believe it or not. So I've won 31 championships, which is, I think, the record in the state of Georgia in wrestling. So, yeah, I've been around forever.
So you had at one time had a name Texas?
Oh, Texas Kid. So I used to sneak over to Mexico. Thanks for bringing that up. So I used to sneak into Mexico and wrestle, and that's what the people in Mexico called me was, hey, the Texas Kid. Because I would sneak over and wrestle and then come back. Yeah, and then come back. Which, by the way, sneaking over is easy because nobody wants to go there. It's the coming back that they make, they have to fold you up and put you in a glove compartment of a car to get you back over. So I'm a contortionist on top of, wrestling.
Okay,
yeah.
so
I don't really want to talk about that.
It's a big glove box.
Contortionist part or the Texas part?
The coming back part.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll tell you about that off air.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmy's not.
The important
Jimmy
thing
is from here.
I made it. I guess.
Well, you got it. You're here, and we appreciate you coming in. And what I like is you're willing to come on here, and we just talk from the heart. We have some spots that we may want to take care of, but he said, hey, I'm willing, I'm game, and he took a couple notes, and we were like, okay, we're just going to shoot, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, man, I'll roll with it, man. We can talk about sports, rolling around in Jello, whatever. I like talk, man.
Yeah, that's another thing. I heard that one of the reasons
roll around in Jello.
No, not the Jello part. One of the reasons they kept you is because you're one of the only ones that'll fly like 10 foot high or something.
So I can fairly decent athlete. I don't toot my own horn anymore. I used to be really arrogant. I try to keep that on about a 3 anymore. But yeah, so I'll jump across. I did it last Saturday in Buckhead, Georgia. About 10 feet in the air, 16 feet across. Dove on a guy a little bigger than I am, and whatever pays the money, man. Pays the rent.
If it pays the bills, I guess
I will do it. I'll serve some tater tots every day, man. If they'll pay me.
Pay me to eat. All right, you're getting tater tots. That's all you get.
Man, I like it.
Okay, well, anybody has any questions about Jared, feel free to give us a text or email us or anything like that.
He is single, by the way, ladies. I'm just throwing that out there.
He's single, and he's not going to mingle on the show, but afterwards, maybe if
afterwards, I'll put my number out.
If you buy him some tater tots.
If you Jimmy, you need to hush, dude. You're funnier behind the scenes than you are in the front. Wait a minute. Okay.
We're working him out.
I'm prettier too.
All right, let's talk a little bit of sports. Last week on the show, I think you were talking, Jimmy. You were talking with. We were talking about Tebow, and you were talking
last
about
Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, right here on the show. I had some comments. I wasn't around to make them, but I thought they did a great job last week. And no, Jimmy's not going anywhere. We've had several phone calls about Jimmy. Are you not on the show anymore? We're taking a rotation in the pit. We call the pit is behind the scenes in the computer area. So we're taking rotations there. Let's do a kind of a football roundup with the NFL. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson really quick.
Yeah, my opinion, we can start with Aaron Rodgers. He wants out of Green Bay. So they say. I haven't seen anything where he is saying it, but I'm assuming he's got to be doing it.
He definitely isn't denying it.
No, he's not denying it, and I don't see. I know he's the reigning MVP and all that. I get that, but 38 years old. Where can you go? I mean, I don't think he's going to play there. I just think that somebody's going to have to pull the trigger. Somewhere like a Denver, somebody who, like John Elway, can bring him in. They've got a ready-made defense. They know that from bringing Peyton Manning in. They cheesed the Super Bowl out of that.
Right,
he had nothing left to give. I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot more than Peyton had left. So maybe that's a fit. I don't see Green Bay definitely not trading him within the conference. They don't want to play the guy. Green Bay learned their lesson whenever Favre waited that whole year. He left, went to the Jets, had to, do his time in Sing Sing for that, come back, go to the Vikings, and then torched them for 2 years, I guess. So they know not to do that. He can still play, doesn't want to be there.
Well, okay, and you're saying you haven't seen him saying he doesn't want to be there. I think the report came out, it was either yesterday or today, that he wants out. He hasn't shown up to camp. He's not at training camp. It's not really training camp. It's not a mandatory.
It's a voluntary.
OTAs, yeah.
But this is the first one he has missed.
Right. He's never missed any of the others. So, I just don't see him coming back in. I don't see him playing next year. I see him playing next year, but I don't see him playing with Green Bay. Honestly, you hit the nail on the head. I think Elway, they got a quarterback in the draft, but I think if Elway can bring along their younger quarterback with somebody like Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they're going to pay him money that he wants. And I'm going to tell you what, and that's one of the big things you're going to start hearing as of today. You can split the cap that he has on your head over a 2-year period.
Right.
So more teams are more likely. Now, I haven't seen the news as of now, but if more teams are more likely going to go after Watson and him, because that $14-15 million that Watson still had, that it's only going to be 7 now, and you can split over 2 years, so it's not going to hit you on your cap. So between the two of them, I think you're going to see both of them moving pretty quick.
Well, I think Rodgers, that would be the ideal place for him to go. Denver's got to do something because Mahomes is going to be there a while. I don't think he's God's gift of football, but he is a very good football player, Mahomes. Rodgers would immediately make Denver better. The Watson deal, first thing I think he has to do is get all the 30,000 allegations. Once they pile on you, like everybody says you touched him. And I'm not saying he didn't, but he's got to get that squared away first. Once he does that, I personally think that Houston trades him probably to Philadelphia. They've got a lot of draft capital. The Carson Wentz trade, as long as he plays 75% of the snaps, that second rounder they got for him will become a first. That gives Philly 3 firsts. I don't know if you package them all, but you have a few. Watson's a once-in-a-generational talent. I don't think Jalen Hurts is the answer there. I think they've seen enough of him last year, the 4 or 5 games he played. I really think Watson goes to Philly, maybe Aaron Rodgers to Denver. But bringing this thing around, I still think if there's some communication between Green Bay and Rodgers, one thing that made him mad was their lack of support for getting help. So I think if they think he can come, maybe they get a shot at Julio. The thing about Julio is he's like $15 million base salary, 23 against the cap. That's a lot of dough for a 32-year-old wide receiver.
But now also on the one thing about with Rodgers, I believe he's not winning the public opinion poll.
No.
I mean, Milwaukee, they have listened to Green Bay has listened to the fans, and they're pretty ticked with Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And they have every right to be because they've given him everything.
Yeah. But, and he can't say a whole lot. I mean, I know it seems like yesterday for me, I'm a Favre guy. I'm an old school guy. I thought Favre, just like Marino, just like any of these other guys, I think you should play your way out. Favre should have been able to waffle all he wanted to. They didn't do that. They kind of pushed him. Rodgers is kind of, I mean, we're 10 years later, same boat. I mean, they're
He's a little tick that they drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, deja vu, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the nature of the game, which is fine, but also at the same time, if he wants out, and listen, if I don't want to work for you anymore, I'm disgruntled, you shouldn't want me, get what you can, let's make a deal, let me get out of here.
Well, it's like Julio. I'm going to go to the Julio situation. Julio, as of this afternoon, Julio is actually in talks with Seattle. That is almost, they're saying almost a foregone conclusion that he will probably go to Seattle. Do you think that if Green Bay were to pick up Julio, that Aaron Rodgers would stay. And here, follow along with me first here, because let's face it, all these other teams. Let's look at Atlanta. They picked up Pitts. All right, look at for example, look at Florida. They've got all the other receivers they have. Not Florida, but Jacksonville. Miami picked up receivers for Tua. Nobody picked up anything for him. They did not. He asked for them. They didn't get any receivers. So my question is, do you think they'll pick, if they was to pick up Julio? It's not going to happen. But if they were to pick him up, do you think that they would actually? Aaron would say, okay, now I have somebody to run with. I have something to do.
I think it helps his feelings. I think it's a bluff game. Like, I don't believe that he'll retire. I believe he'll sit out as long as possible, even into preseason. Guys like him, they don't need, in my opinion, they don't need OTAs. They don't need it doesn't take much. You get a couple whacks on you. You either, at 38 years old and you're the league MVP, I don't know that I want you to come to minicamp other than to hang around and wear some shorts and just. So none of that's hurting him. I do think bringing Julio in maybe helps his feelings. I think there's bad blood anyway. That Ted Thompson, I think, is the GM there. Everybody ends up hating him when they leave. So
no, Thompson ain't there no more. It's a new GM, and he's the problem that Aaron Rodgers is saying. He's saying he gets along great with everybody else, but them two have different opinions.
Yeah, which again is deja vu, because I'm pretty sure Brett Favre wanted to kill Ted Thompson on the way out. You know.
Yeah. From all that was said.
But I do not believe if they even pursued the Julio trade, I don't think it matters.
Pull your mic down.
Yeah. And they're
down out of your face.
Down. There you go. How about that?
Roger wants to see your face.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, man.
I told you, second best looking guy on the show, man.
I'm telling you. Well, and you know what? And so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go to. We talked about Julio. The most attention. You knew where I was going. The most attention that's coming to the league right now is Jacksonville, and they're bringing in Tim Tebow. Now, the best thing that Tim Tebow has done to this point is not said a word. He hasn't done anything to fuel the fire, to cool the fire, or anything. He hasn't said a word. So is that good, or should he say something, or is that just going to fan the flame?
Personally, I don't think he should say anything. He's a tight end at this point, trying to make a ball club that had the first overall pick. So they were obviously hurting at tight end. Maybe it's a publicity move, but I think he's a good athlete. You got to be. I mean, the guy played AAA baseball from the NFL. You don't do that if you're. I know, but people bash on him because of the extracurriculars, and he's a good athlete.
But nobody said anything to Deion Sanders when he did it. He was a great athlete, and he was doing this. But Tebow's doing it now, and it's all this other stuff.
But Deion never had to make a football team.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
But I think he makes the team, even if it's a reserve. I don't think it's that much of a publicity stunt. I think Urban Meyer and he have the connection. They click. He's a good locker room guy. He's a football guy. He's not in bad shape, and I just think he makes the team. I don't know how much he contributes.
Well,
Trevor Lawrence is a rookie. Jacksonville's not a destination anybody goes to on purpose. They're just
not yet.
I mean, maybe when Mark Brunell was there in like 1996, they're not known to be a building team. Usually they're a stopgap for somebody trying to get paid. Hopefully they build off of it. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I tell you, Tebow being there takes a lot off of Trevor Lawrence's plate to me, because this microscope's not on you, number one pick, because they're on this guy that hadn't played in 9 years.
We have to be thinking just alike from all those places, and that's what I was telling Jimmy on a couple shows back, was that exact same thing. You take all the attention away from this multi-star, and he can do things that the eyeball is on him.
Yeah.
Now it's not. But going to the Tebow thing, nobody recalls Tim Tebow played tight end in high school. In his beginning, that's where he started out, was at tight end.
Well, you've heard people say, and I think LeBron James said he thought about going out to play tight end for the Browns one year, and nobody blinked at it. And I think he probably could.
Yeah.
Or at least be invited to camp.
I completely agree.
And I don't know, Tebow, hopefully he makes a team for him. I mean, I don't like anybody boo-boo facing on somebody else that's out there doing it. If he's not good enough, he's gone. But give the guy a shot. The rest of the extracurriculars, that's
That's the problem, though. Nobody wants to give him a shot because he wasn't a good quarterback at the time. I think he was, but I mean, he 2 playoff wins and completed a touchdown to Marius Thomas. I think that's beating a dead horse. But you put all that together, the athlete aspect of the whole thing is where it's. I think where it's at for him.
And the only thing that bothered me about it, that I guess bothered me, that I thought twice about, was the whole comparing it to the Kaepernick thing, because nobody's giving him a shot, but Tebow's been out 9 years. Kaepernick had a shot. They ramrodded that whole workout thing, and then he did it somewhere else and turned it into a stunt. I think other than in this region, I don't think they're talking about Tim Tebow out in San Francisco or Arizona. I mean, we live right here.
Yeah.
So Tebow's getting attention.
It's not as big a news out.
No, not
that
at
area.
all. I don't think if you don't live here, just like Julio is not. There's probably other wide receivers that are out there.
You say that, and you can't turn a show on ESPN or any of these talk shows, and Tebow hasn't been on their show at least you run an hour twist. He's on every show. That doesn't matter whether you're from California or you're in Europe. They're on the shows because he's on there because that's the biggest topic. There's nothing else. Deshaun Watson has completely come out of the headlines.
Well, it's different than okay, I agree with you that ESPN and them don't go an hour without saying something, but at the end of the day, I don't think the football fans in San Diego or San Francisco are worried about Jacksonville with Tebow.
No.
I don't know.
It's a regional thing.
San Diego has a military base that most of them are from over this way, so.
Yeah. But I don't think it's as big a news out there and as much concern as it is here.
Well, no, they're the ones that are looking at this like it's we're really dragging this on, but they're the ones that are looking at this like
we're in this area, so we should.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're looking at it like this is a stunt just so they can get all this over there. But they had the number 1 pick. I mean, you don't need to publish.
Well, I mean, and to bring it full circle, it's a lose-lose for Jacksonville. If they cut him, you're going to have all these people saying you wasted a spot, and there's a lot of people going, I can't believe you cut him. He's great. He's the best ever. If you keep him, it's not because he's a good athlete. It's because he's Urban Meyer's boy and blah, blah, blah. So I guess hopefully he contributes a ton. Otherwise, it's going to be you only kept him because blah.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I do have a contact inside the Jaguar Stadium. And he was out there eating lunch, watching the Jaguars play, and he said that Lawrence threw to him about 44 times. Didn't drop the ball at all.
Did you see the picture of him?
Oh, the dude is
he's
beast.
I mean, he ain't done anything in 9 years but lift weights, it looks like. I don't know. I mean, it's amazing, yeah.
But then again, how many of them look like that? But when it boils down to it.
Yeah. I mean, can he play on Sunday?
Yeah.
I mean,
can he catch a pass when he's got a linebacker covering him?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when and what nobody's talking about is Jacksonville doesn't have a plethora of wide receivers doing much of anything. He's going to get attention.
But they have the wide receivers, but they don't have the tight ends.
Right.
Their tight ends, they got O'Shaughnessy, which is probably one of their best tight ends, and he is only halfway through. He's not all the way through it. So what you're looking at is, it's a possibility he's going to make the team, and he could probably start if they do a double tight end. O'Shaughnessy isn't one of their starters. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to throw that one in the garbage. We're going to talk about it. Dude, we're just moving right along.
We made it right on through that one.
I'm telling you. So let's just talk about a little bit about the MLB.
Okay.
So here we go. I got the lineup right here.
You want my top 5?
Yeah, give me your top 5. Let's see. I'm gonna see.
As of this week,
Don't look at this. Don't look at this. I'm gonna see what you think.
My top 5, and I can put them in this order.
Okay.
Would be,
Wait, you gonna do National League or just overall?
Overall.
Okay.
Padres, the Rays, the White Sox, Red Sox, Cardinals. If I was gonna say the top 5 now, I'm not looking at their records, just the way they're playing right now.
Uh-huh.
Those are top 5 teams to me.
To you.
Yes, and I usually baseball really after the All-Star break you start seeing who you got and what you got. We're not quite there yet, so everybody's still jockeying within a few games. I mean, you'll have teams that is end up 15, 20 games out of first place that are still have a shot. That's just part of
Right.
this time of year has that. But to me, those are the 5 teams that are playing the best baseball consistently right now.
So what you're looking at, and you hit 3 of them almost right on top, right off the top. So you cheated and looked at my list. I'm telling you, you already looked at my list. So Tampa Bay is at the top, and then you have the Red Sox, and then the White Sox are at the top of the Central. So okay, you've got right there's 3 out of your top 5, but then you have in the West you have Oakland.
The A's playing good.
Right, and then you have the Mets at the top of the East of the NL, and then you have the Cubs at the Central, top of the Central, and San Francisco at the top of the biggest thing, I guess, from around here is I really want to see Atlanta do well. The problem is they're not consistent. And everybody is on the bandwagon for Freeman and all this other stuff. And I understand where they're coming from, but there's other people that are doing the job. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a player who's at the top of his game now. And who was he that got arrested this week?
Asuna, is that you
Yeah,
say?
I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
And my opinion, I'm just going to put it out there. My opinion, if it's a domestic violence, that there was something that could be seen, or that there was a witness to it, which in this case I believe an officer was a witness to it, correct?
That's what the news outlet
Okay.
said. The officers saw the
Because
show.
they were in the middle of it when the officer showed up. So he went to jail, and then he had to go on he stayed in for what, 2 days, and he got out on a $20,000 bond? So I'll get your opinion on it, but my opinion, and I know Jimmy and I are pretty much on the same wavelength, and I believe we talked before the show and you are too, but domestic violence has no place anywhere.
No.
We were talking about before the show, but you remember Bobby Cox when he was with Atlanta, and this same thing happened with Bobby, but then Bobby ended up in the Atlanta Hall of Fame, and he continued coaching. But you said it right, I guess. I mean, I can't take anything from it. Is we live in a different time, a different era.
Well, it's 20 years later, and not that it was excused back then, but it was perceived, and everything's on video now.
Oh, yeah.
Everything you do is on video, so it can always be a he said, she said, even though there's doubt, but there's never a doubt in video. You and I were doing so well until just now.
Yeah,
I have to admit something to you. It's probably gonna get me kicked off the show.
that's all right.
I hate the Braves.
Okay.
Can't stand them. My
That's fine.
granny in the 90s made me absolutely hate them. Okay.
Wait a minute.
So let me give you the scoop. So I moved here. I will get back to the Zuna.
That's fine.
I moved here in 1991. Apparently, the Braves were no good until that year. I moved here in that fall, and I remember I could walk in my granny's house years later before she passed, and I could go, Kirby Puckett. And I'd have to go outside and play, man. Like you just so hated the Braves because they were good,
Right.
And we had to watch them every 6:05 on TBS. Oh my God. So that was just I had to get that out there.
So what team do you like? What team do you like?
So I'm a Cardinals fan.
Okay.
My grandmother worked. We didn't have in Fort Lauderdale. We didn't have a team until '93 or so. So my grandma worked for Stan Musial in the '60s. So we just naturally grew up Cardinals.
Oh,
fans.
yeah, exactly.
Throw the number out there to them. Call them.
We got a call-in number now? Oh, yes, we do. Call-in number is 229-252-2521. Somebody give us a call and make sure that line is actually working. We just set it up this
Jimmy's
week.
looking like Vanna White back there. Flipping numbers.
He's got a tank top on and he's flexing for us and all that stuff.
Nobody's even in the Valdosta cinemas watching him.
And picture Spanx.
Yeah.
So I loaned him.
Wait a minute, we're out of here.
So,
the two of them in space is no way.
Hey, look at here. We've also got, now folks, we are at Jojo's.
Yes.
Go ahead, Roger, take it.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say we're at Jojo's Potato and Mac Shack,
Man.
and they just brought,
look at that.
you better take that, Jerry, because Roger will leave.
Go ahead.
No, let's take it. Come on, let's take it.
I just had a loaded potato top, but that looks like
Hey,
the Philly
Bring me a fork or something. You have a fork or something?
potato. Is that right?
Just use your hand.
Yeah, that's a
Shoot your
Philly.
hand.
It's a Philly cheese. Won't you show
I
it,
tell you what,
show
here
it
we
to
go.
the, show it
Okay,
to the
no,
camera?
wait a minute. Let's see how daring he really is. Come on. Come on.
Without that
Come
talking,
on, man.
without
Come
that
on,
talking.
man. You got to eat it off of this side. Come on.
Ain't no way I'm eating that after Roger tastes it.
Come on.
That's what I get for being the first one.
Look at that. He's the guinea pig.
It was good though. I would almost do it again.
Oh, here you go.
In case y'all don't know where, in case y'all don't know where JoJo's Potato and Mac Shack is, folks, is right in front of the Baytree Theaters, or Valdosta Theaters, according to what you want to say. The phone number is 229-262-1166. They do have specials tonight, and it is from 6 to 8, which is $3 drafts, $4 wines. Y'all come see Courtney.
I'll eat while you talk.
The what?
I said I'll eat while you talk.
Oh, okay. Well, we usually do eat on the show. But I ain't eating. I'm going to tell you now, after Roger touched it, I ain't eating it.
My fingers are not clean.
Exactly.
I'll eat around it.
But y'all come out here every Tuesday. There's room back here on the deck. They've also got barbecue sandwiches and tater tots and fries.
Hey, whatever happened to the potato bombs that we came up with that first night we were out here? Did y'all not?
I thought he was.
Huh?
We didn't keep those.
Oh, they didn't keep them. Those are one of the best things that they had on the menu. They didn't even have them on the menu. They just made them
Yeah,
up
he
that
sends
night.
he sends me in there. There's a story behind the potato bomb. I go in there to the lady and I ask for the potato bomb at the front register, and she looks at me like I'm in the wrong restaurant. I'm like, ma'am, the guy sent me out here to get a potato bomb, and I don't know if maybe she thought we were going to hijack the place or what, but she's like, I don't know what that is, and I'm like, I mean, just put everything on the potato and I'll take it to him because that's got to be it. So I don't know what else.
So
it was really good too, by the way.
He came out with a bunch of, I don't know what that was. What was it? Hash browns?
It was tater tots with jalapeno, sour cream, cheddar cheese. I mean, it was loaded. It was a loaded
tater totter.
So it was good. It was really good. Jojo's, yes.
They've done a great job for us.
Thank you.
Every Tuesday night we're out here at 6:30. But don't wait till we're here. Come and see them anytime. What are your hours, by the way?
We are Tuesday through Sunday,
Tuesday through Sunday,
11 to 9.
11 to 9. So Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 9. Are you not open Monday? They got to take a day off. Everybody wants a day off now.
Monday's a good day to take. I try to take Monday off every morning. Every Monday morning I try to take off, but it doesn't work. Ozuna, I think they have no choice but he's got to go. I mean, that's just the way it goes. I don't think they have any choice.
Well,
He'll end up having to do all the right things. He'll have to go to the classes. He'll have to, kind of like the Mike Vick thing, or I don't know. It depends on the guy.
Yeah.
Ray Rice went through me. There was video of what he did
In the elevator.
I don't think he can bag groceries at Publix. I mean, it depends on the person. Mike Vick did what he did, and he got a second career. Not saying that you can't, but that's an absolutely horrible thing to do if all of what's said is true. And I mean, your job can't keep you, man. It's just there's just no way around it.
What do you think? Same thing, Jimmy?
On Ozuna?
Yeah.
As much as I like him, he's gone. He wouldn't play for me no more.
Well, they're saying that
I just have to. I'll take the pay. I just have to
they're
take the
saying that
hit.
the MLB is they're actually going to do their own investigation on it, and if they find cause, then they'll either
Well,
suspend
when you
it
got
or
your
whatever.
hand on a woman's throat, that's cause enough for me.
It's cause enough for me too.
Unless she's holding a knife trying to stab him.
Okay, but I from what I know right now, and from what the reports are saying, I don't think he should. I think he should be gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. That's just it. Okay. Well, let's move on to
I still like my top five. I don't care.
your top five are good, man. I mean, you pretty much picked them,
Yeah.
all but two, and I think one was the Mets and one was the Cubs. And those were the two.
As long as
that
it
you-
wasn't the Braves, you got my beginning of that story with my granny. Like, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
pick the Braves, even if they're like 162 and 0.
I think everybody's granny
I
watched
think
them
so, too.
back
They
then.
did, man. And it was one of those. I had an old school granny. She wore the moo had the sweet meat under her arm, like shelled peas. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was the whole
Well,
nine.
and that's what my wife's grandmother did the same thing. She had her own TV. She would sit at the big table, and she would have the TV across from her. And with the Braves were on, she either did her potatoes, she did her peas, she did her
Yeah.
beans, she did whatever right there at that table. And you didn't get in the middle of it.
No,
that was it.
I had nightmares, man. I'll kill you, Dave Justice. You know what I mean? Like,
But Dave Justice was the band now. Come
Yeah.
on. He ended up
I was a
doing
Ron Gant guy. If I had to pick
Yeah.
a Brave from back then, he hit like 5,000 home runs foul.
Well,
Like, he was the guy. Like, if I had to pick a Brave to not wish.
See
his
me,
shoes
I'm a
was
Steve
tied
Avery
together.
guy. I'm a Steve Avery guy.
He was-
Avery was great till he got married, and after that,
It was over. It was that's
I
like,
second that. I second that.
I think the Braves were good, and this is just me. When the bad stuff about Rocker came out on the subway, where he was saying he was using the foul language and the derogatory terms towards the different races, I think that's just started the whole decline, and that's when they got rid of him, and everything else just went down.
But I'll say this: it may get some Braves fans calling on you. I think the early day Braves were better than the ones that won the World Series in '95 and went on, like that '91, '92, '93 teams. Like, I know they didn't win it, but they were tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really. I mean, Terry Pendleton, a lot of those guys that weren't there in the later part of the years when Chipper came and Andrew Jones, and I think those younger.
Well,
You know,
when you
the
had
Otis Nixon,
I was gonna
Deion
say,
Sanders,
yeah.
I don't think they knew how to win, and by the time the younger guys got there, it was easier for them. They probably should have won 2 or 3 World Series.
I think those
Should
older
have won
guys,
2 or 3 World Series.
but those older guys taught
Yeah.
those younger.
Yeah, he brought
Why do you
Fred
think
McGriff
Chipper?
in.
Yeah. Why do you think Chipper? Why do you think the rest of those guys were as good as they were when they came
Yeah.
in? Because Deion and Freddie Freeman, and not Freddie Freeman, it's Freeman, first baseman.
Freddie
Fred
Freeman.
McGriff. Fred
McGriff.
Yeah.
Oh.
McGriff played first base, and those guys there.
But they brought in a lot of guys. I
Yeah.
mean, anybody that would help. I mean, Andre Scott Raga came in for a while. I mean, you had so many.
Yeah.
But Sid Bream, I mean, that whole team just
Look.
gelled. They should have won some, and he was the slowest.
Look,
I think
I was gonna say-
he's still trying to make it home from
in
third, I think.
their stadium, they still have that. They still have that highlight where he's running around to home and he slid and made it, and the ball was all the way in the outfield, and he was still running from first base.
Yeah.
And that would to me was just I don't know how he made it. I
And
really
Ronnie Sauls, who we met last week, thank you for coming out and supporting us. He said that the Braves need pitching, and Ozuna needs to forego the $45 million the Braves are giving him, and should be banned from sports for 5 years. If this is his first offense, if it's happened before, he needs to be banned. Period.
So there, and you know what? I can't argue with that.
And I think there should be a precedent set for any of that. Like there should be a list. Like you should know the rule. It shouldn't just be, who the guy.
But I
is.
think if it was up to baseball, there would be something. But with the union,
Yeah.
Players Association.
that's where
Well,
I
you know
think
what?
that's where the problem comes in on a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff.
I think at this point, the Players Association also has to look at that and say that you can't. That you just
No, you can't
do
just-
that.
But you know how they work. I mean, they got to protect the guy that done wrong just as much as they do the guy that did right.
Yeah, you can't. But now there's some things, and I hope one day we do a discussion on this. We don't have to today because we can get really deep. I'm a guy that's okay with PEDs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think at a certain age, it's your choice.
Well.
Well, no, I think what you're getting at is you're saying the league should say, okay, there's not really a limit on them and you can use them. But then where do you? We can't get into that.
No. But what I was getting at was something like that. I think domestic violence is black and white.
Yeah.
That should be, even the union should be like, hey, that's.
Yeah.
But something like that, and we can get into it,
Yeah.
but another time. But I think it's entertainment. Sports is entertainment, and I want to see you hit the ball 6,000 feet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Barry Bonds can't get 20% of the vote to get in the Hall of Fame, but every time he was getting close to 755, ESPN would stop what they were doing to turn to it. Get out of my face, man.
Yep. You're actually right.
anyway,
But then you
yeah.
turn around and you also if you're going to bring that controversy up, you've got to bring up Pete Rose.
Yeah.
So that's
Pete
we're
Rose,
gonna do
Roger
a whole
Clemens,
show on
Pete
that.
Rose, Roger Clemens, and
Yeah.
Barry Bonds not being in your Hall of Fame is not a Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Go ahead to you next time.
But anyway,
I'm
so
sorry.
no. But what I was going to say when we were on the Acuna thing. Well,
Okay, yeah, he's out of here.
Well, he's out of here. But one of the top stories today was he hit his 16th home run to tie the big league home run record in a certain amount of days, and they beat Washington 5-3 on yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand. Why is he still there?
I don't.
The rest of us are just like, okay,
We have a caller coming in.
okay,
Uh-oh.
power rankings. Let's go to your power rankings. For
Hold
the,
on, I'm gonna say.
but the power rankings. No, don't be cheating off my paper. Sit there. Look, that's a wrestler for you. He's always trying to find somebody else.
Man, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
All right, give me your power rankings for who you think the power rankings are. Not how they're ranked in the standings, but who has the best power on their team.
Wrong number.
Just
He's all excited. First caller, and it's a wrong number.
they were trying to get some of this Philly cheesesteak
That's what
potato is what
I
it
like
was.
it, the Philly cheesesteak.
The most powerful team.
In the power ranking, like football has their power rankings, baseball also has that power ranking. So it'd be the power in everything that you have.
I would say, I mean, if I had to pick a power ranking team, probably the Rays.
Actually,
Maybe
they're
the
number
Giants?
3. They're number 3. No, your number 1 is number 1 on this, and you just totally avoided them. San Diego
Padres?
Yeah, the San Diego Padres.
Because you
number
kept them out of my top 5 all ago.
But it's the power rankings. That's why I tried to get to you.
yeah.
This is not that.
Yeah.
So
Padres are the most complete team. Go ahead.
Yeah, they really are, and they've probably got the best chance. So you got the Padres, you got Los Angeles, the Dodgers, the Rays are number 3. Then the 3 teams that you were talking about are the 2 teams were the Sox teams, the White and the Reds, and the Atlanta Braves.
Really?
Yeah, those are the top.
My granny must have made that list.
Well, the thing about I believe the thing about the Braves is we're either scoring 15 runs or we're scoring 0 runs. I mean, we're blowing people away or we're losing.
Didn't they go into over innings to like 15 innings the other night? It was like
I don't know. If it's past 9 o'clock, I'm pretty much out.
They did it in a walk-off or something. It was like 15 runs. It was this last week.
It was like 12, 13 innings.
Yeah.
Well, the beautiful thing is it's June 1st, so all that's going to change. Like I said, after All-Star break is when teams really start to. It's almost like that home stretch of a horse race. Like everybody's kind of jockeying, bringing guys up, back in 2. You don't really know if you're in contention or what you got until mid-August, maybe. You know, then you're starting to see what, you know, if you're going to make a push.
Well, you've got to right before the playoffs to get who you want.
And baseball, I mean, even though they play 162 games, is all about streak. How many times have you seen a team, especially since they went to everybody and their mama is a playoff team, guys get on a roll as a wild card and just blow through, you know, this postseason. It's like a team with 110 wins, you know, loses a few at the end of the season and get tossed.
Well,
you know,
it's like you were saying there.
DS or whatever.
You could start out and you can win every game up to midseason, and then you lose every game after that.
Baseball is all streak, man.
It is. It really is. It's who's going to get hotter at the best time, and that's why a lot of them's motto is never been hotter than the whatever. And so that's what everybody comes around. So let's move on to the NBA. What do you think?
Sure.
Go Hawks.
Did you go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Hey, they're actually going to win a series, I believe.
Wait a minute. 2 weeks ago you were saying we can't win anything in Atlanta. Now all of a sudden,
But we ain't won it all. We just gonna get past the first round. As long as it's over the Knicks, I'm good.
I think they closed the Knicks out.
It's tonight.
Yeah.
No, is it Wednesday?
No, it's tonight.
It's before we come back to Mama June's. I know they play tonight or tomorrow, but either way, I think.
Hold on, I
tomorrow.
tell you. Give me
Maybe
just
tomorrow.
1 second. It's see Brooklyn.
Brooklyn closes out the night.
They close out tonight, and let's see. The Blazers and the Nuggets.
Oh no, today's Wednesday. Yeah.
No,
Today's Tuesday.
Is it okay? Tomorrow night.
Tuesday night. Where are we at Tuesday night?
I don't know.
Where are we at
I'm
Tuesday
back
night?
here behind the
We're right
camera.
here at JoJo's on Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night at JoJo's eating some good food with some great people. And then we're at Mama June's on Thursday night. Okay? We'll make sure we get that straight. What's the phone number again, Jimmy?
To here?
Yeah.
229-252-2521.
I walked all over you. Do that again.
And we'll take
Okay.
your order for the Philly cheese. If
Yeah,
you got a
just leave
sports
an order.
question,
Yeah,
we'll
first person to order, Roger will pay for it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
You got to mention that you're calling because of Armchair Sports.
Hold on. Y'all are talking all over each other. Neither one of them heard what was going on.
Go ahead, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
Okay. First person that you want to do the first person
First
that calls,
person that calls
first
in.
person that calls in and places an order. Now you know it's not
No,
for everybody now.
I tell you what they'll do. If they call in, then I will give them their name at the front, and they can come in and get their order.
You gotta have a sports question to go with your order, though. Don't just call in and go, "Give me the tater tots" and hang up.
No, yeah, no kidding. So you gotta call in and say, okay, this is what I want. And I tell you what, I'll do a $30 limit on anybody. That'll get you some pretty good food out here at $30. So I'll give you a $30 limit for the first person that calls in here, and they can say anything about any kind of sports and have an intelligible, say something intelligible about what we've talked about or what you think we might talk about.
And if you don't like the Braves, I'll buy you a drink to go with it.
If they can't get a drink for $30, we in trouble.
All right, Glenn Morgan, there you are.
Hey, I've been to some places.
Oh, that's true.
We can't talk about that.
We get
But so basketball.
Go ahead.
is anybody going to stop the Nets in the East? I mean, I don't. Basketball is so top.
Go ahead.
I'm just-
Tell you what I've said.
He said the Nets all year, and I watched the game the other night, and with who they got,
I mean, it's not
How
like
can you?
he's not on a big limb by saying that. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
No, but you've got to look at that. They were playing the other night and they were ahead 126-82 or something. It's not even a ball game.
the only thing about it is they don't play defense. Not normally. Now, if you, it's kind of hard to play defense when you're down, 100. Somebody scoring 120 points, but James Harden doesn't play defense.
Nope.
I don't think you're getting 100% Kevin Durant off the injury. I think you're getting him on the offensive end of the court, but he was never the best defender. Kyrie's fair. I mean, the three players I just said are three of the top, 7, 8 players
Oh, yeah,
in the league
yeah, definitely.
on one team. When is the Nets / Brooklyn, New Jersey, when have they ever been any good? They're not. But everybody can gang up on a team, and that's what basketball's kind of become. You can. When's the last time somebody didn't have a mega team that was out there doing it?
Well, look,
State.
the Lakers did it. The Lakers won. Now they're paying for it because they've got all that salary, and Unibrow can't even be there. He's out.
Well, see,
I mean,
I know a lot of people who are LeBron fans.
No,
I
I'm
think
not
he's a
a fan.
fantastic basketball player. He needs the help. When AD went down, I think you could. They were already they limped into the playoffs as the 7th seed.
Yep.
So with a healthy, I guess he was healthy AD, LeBron coming back from his injury. He's 36 years old. He's running a lot of up and down the courts, man. You can't get those miles back.
so here's my question. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Here's my question is, so I'm going to intermix our two conversations from earlier and now. LeBron James at 36, he can transfer a team in basketball and be great. He's the best. He's the GOAT. But Tim Tebow go to a team and play in a different position, and he can't do it. So anyway, let's move on. So,
Yeah, sure.
keep going. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying LeBron, has always had to have help to get where he's going. When he was in Miami, he had Wade and Bosh and a lot of role players. Ray Allen, I think, hit a 3 that they should have lost that series, and luckily they did. He plays good. I'm not down in the guy at all, but when he went back to Cleveland, he had Kyrie, Kevin Love, several guys. He comes out to the Lakers. They bombed with him until they got AD and a couple of them other guys that they brought in.
He brought half the guys over from
Yeah.
Cleveland.
He has to have a supporting cast, and anybody really. I mean, the days of one guy toting a team, they're kind of over with. But for you to be the greatest of all time, blah blah blah, you really need some strong. You're not supporting role players. I mean, he's got some. AD might be third, fourth best player in the league.
Yep. Right
You
now
know?
he is. Yeah. So that's one of the things
he's
that.
not a ham and egger, man.
But then you turn around and you see what happened in the game the other night.
Yeah.
I mean, AD wasn't there. He was gone in the first because of a groin after the first half.
and a 7-foot guy with
Yeah.
a groin, just a big groin.
Yes.
I mean, he's.
I don't want that either, but okay.
An injury, a running sport injury,
Yeah,
a groin
exactly.
is.
But did you, talking about the Nets earlier, we're going to circle back to that real quick. Did you watch the game the other night when Shaq started to walk off the set because of what Charles Barkley said?
I must have missed it.
Charles Barkley said that James Harden was the best one-on-one player he's ever seen.
Well, I'm going to quote.
And Shaq said you have to quit saying stupid things. And he started to walk off the set, and
That's a pretty-
one of them called him back on and said, "Man, we only got one more segment." And so Shaq come back, but he just lit into Charles saying, "How can you say that?"
I'm going to tell you one
A
thing.
couple times listening to Roger, a couple times I
Hey.
heard him say that.
I get beat up over here. So I'm going to tell you this. I have said somebody, I won't tell you, my brother has specifically said to me, Charles Barkley is an idiot.
For
Now,
saying that?
one of my best friends who coaches in Dublin, Paul Williams, loves him to death. He's met the man, been in the supermarket with him, all this other stuff. Just loves him to death. It's all about what you like of somebody's attitude or somebody's charisma. And some people are just turned off by him, and that's one of them.
But do you think that, because they know how to play off each other, Kenny
Oh,
Smith,
yeah.
Charles, Shaq, and they get into it all. How many times have you seen
Shaq and Charles get into it all every
Do
time.
you think maybe he said that just to get that rile out of Shaq? Guys,
I don't think he did. I was sitting there watching it, and Shaq was like, "You are stupid."
maybe Charles believes that. I just can't think that a guy that was a top 50 player all time, played against Jordan, played against all these guys, can honestly sit there and James Harden's a good player. He's not top 50 all the time.
He's
Well,
not-
then he tried to change it and say, well, I'm saying in today's game. And Shaq told him, he said, that ain't what you said.
Yeah.
You said he is the best player one-on-one that you have ever
Well, and
seen.
that's what Charles Barkley does, though. Let's face it. I do a lot of that here.
All the time.
Just to stir the pot. And Charles is fabulous at that because, let's face it, all of us sitting in the media here are now talking about what happened with Charles Barkley and him.
But is your golf swing as bad as his?
My golf thing is
Have you
probably
ever seen
way
Charles
worse.
Barkley?
Oh, yeah.
I know my bank account ain't as big as his.
No, mine either. But man,
All right, let's move on. Let's
he's
move on.
something.
All right, so we just talked a little bit about the playoffs and the NBA and who's doing what. Do you think that? So who's your team? You said the Nets. We both think, and you haven't really come out and said who you thought would be the team to beat either against the Nets or in.
Well,
in the
right now, I
finals.
think I'm with you. I think you got to go with the Nets.
But who do you
On
think
the
they're going to
West,
play against?
in the West, I think I think the Jazz have finally made that.
If they get over the hump, though.
Well, they've made that jump. For years they were the 4-5 seed. Now they're the one. The West isn't what the West was. Golden State's not. They're no longer a powerhouse. The Lakers, I think, were a bubble champion. I think they'll have an asterisk beside it. Always will to me. The Clippers didn't pan out like they probably could have. Houston has imploded their stuff. The Suns to me are where Houston
Well, now you got to remember the Suns are actually at
where Utah
right
was
now.
not 3 or 4 years ago. They're
But
number two
this-
seed.
Yeah, they're number 2 seed, but right now they're playing some phenomenal basketball.
They are. But I think once they go into the next round and they're playing, I don't know, whoever the 5-6 seed is
Right.
or whatever, then I think the competition gets a little. I just think that this Phoenix is where the Jazz were 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. I think they're on the edge there. Yeah.
And
you're right.
so I think, and I remember watching basketball when I was younger, and that Jazz crowd. There's nothing else to do in Utah. Well, several
Talking
marriages.
about Karl Malone and Malone and Stockton there.
The
Oh my
polygamists
goodness. Yeah.
and the Jazz. That's all that's there, man. You either get married or you're going to a Jazz game.
Let's go to wait. I'm heading to Utah.
Yeah, I mean, so what I'm saying is that crowd is like they're always packed. It's raucous. It's a tough place to play.
But like you said, there's nothing to do.
There's nothing to do except.
Well, I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to give my Utah fans. It is one of the larger cities in the United States. There's plenty to do.
That's
You
the
get
only
outside.
city in Utah, ain't it?
Well, that I can think of, but that's
Yeah.
my whole point is it's one of the larger cities, so there's things to do. But your point is correct. When it comes outside and they start doing other stuff, they don't have a football team.
I mean, they named the basketball team after the entire state.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz.
Okay, but who's your dark horse to make it?
At which side?
Yeah, you got.
Both sides.
I think. Go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
I'm gonna say Phoenix.
I think I could see.
Phoenix is struggling with the Lakers, though.
No, they're not really struggling.
They're tied 2-2.
I know that, but they were behind them, but now they're in a rhythm.
It's
Davis
going to
is
help
back.
that LA
Davis is gone.
ain't healthy. It's going to help them.
But they're going to start getting in a rhythm, and you said dark horse. That would be a dark horse if they're struggling right
I
now.
don't consider a number 2 a dark horse, though.
Only
I
because
do.
they haven't been up there for so long.
How many number ones do you have seated? 4, right? So if you have 4 seated, then you've got 4 more 2 seats. So
You
those
only, only got 2, Utah in the west and
I'm thinking-
Philly in the east.
So I think the Philly in the East to me is the second best team. I think Denver Nuggets are another one. Just like they're kind of like Utah. They've hovered around the 4-5 seed. They're a little better. I think the top end teams have backed up to them more than they've gotten better. The Lakers have fallen off, like I said before.
Yeah.
The Clippers have fallen off. Golden State's completely fell off. So I think that Denver has sort of, by attrition, kind of got up there with. They wouldn't surprise me if Denver win as much as or Utah.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with that because let's face it. Let's look at some of these.
Sixers the same. I think the Sixers had the other night they had 5 or 6 guys in double digits. I mean, they're spreading the ball around.
Well, your top leaders. Let's look at your top leaders, and the offensive points leader is Kevin Durant. Okay, and rebounds is whatever is however you say is from Milwaukee.
The Greek Freak.
Yeah, there you go. We'll just say the Freak. All right, and then you got from Phoenix. The second overall rebounder is from Phoenix, which is Andre. So and then you got Kawhi Leonard from the Lakers, which is this 3rd highest points, and then Dallas. Nobody's talking about Dallas Mavericks. So,
Yeah.
and Luka is the second highest scorer right now for the league, and he's in Dallas.
I just think in your team basketball, I think your two teams in the East are the Nets and the Sixers, and in the West, the Jazz and maybe the Nuggets. I don't think anybody's beating the Nets. I'd be surprised if they don't win the championship.
Yeah, I'd almost
Because
go to
they're
Vegas
built,
right now for
they're
money.
built to. I mean,
You buy a team and you got your sixth man is Griffin.
Yeah.
I mean, they took him from the Clippers, so I mean,
They knew what they were doing. They bought Kevin Durant with one leg and
Yep.
knew they were going to have to miss a whole season.
Yep, exactly.
Just this year. This is why. So.
Well, the 76ers are just totally just bombing out altogether.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was like, they were all so hyped up on the 76ers, and they're just
But
bombing.
they'll close out, though. I think they're up 3-1, right?
Yeah, but they're not playing the ball that everybody thought that they were actually going to play.
All I gotta say is, folks, somebody called in and cost Roger $30.
No, you don't want to cost me no money.
Cost him some money, folks. Call in.
No money,
First
come
person
on
to
now.
call in gets a $30 credit up here
$30 credit.
at Jojo's Potato and Mac Shack.
Are we on to
We're on to
NHL?
I do want to say something for local now. Let me pull it back up real quick.
Oh, he's got to pull it up. Now,
Now, Kenny Moore, who, Roger, I know you're probably not familiar with him, but he played here at Lowndes High for DSU.
Okay.
And he has been ranked. He's been around since 2017. He was picked up as a free agent by the Patriots. Got cut right before making the final roster. Landed with the coach and has been a starter, I believe, ever since. Well, no, moved to a primary slot role in 2018. He has been ranked by Pro Football, one of them websites.
Pro Football Focus?
Yes. He has been ranked as the NFL's top slot quarterback. Now, I believe he is still the highest paid cornerback. He might be number 2 now, but folks, he's a local guy, and that's pretty big.
Yeah.
All right, you got a caller that's been on hold for almost 10 minutes, guys.
We do.
Really wants that
Yeah.
cheesy potato goodness right here.
Somebody's been on hold for almost 10 minutes. I just got a text message that said, I see the picture of their phone. Look at him eating over here.
Hey, man.
He said, I've been on hold for about 10
Jojo's.
minutes.
Okay, you ready?
Okay, we got somebody on. Who is it?
I'm not giving that the phone.
Hello?
No, I don't want you to
Hey,
give out.
hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, he is. You can turn him up just a little bit.
Hang on just a second, let's turn.
Okay, where are you calling from, caller?
I'm calling from Orlando, Florida.
Orlando. Florida. So you're an Orlando Magic fan? Is that it?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't want to talk basketball. I want to talk football. Y'all were talking about Tim Tebow earlier, and
Turn that down.
I want to talk. And I want to talk about Brandon Jacobs. He also wants to return to the NFL. He also has had an 8-year layoff, but he wants to come back as a defensive end.
Hey, caller, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm listening
Yeah, can you hear me?
to him up here, guys. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. I'm sorry.
All right, you want me to repeat all that?
No, you was talking about Brandon Jacobs wanting to come back to the NFL after an 8-year playoff.
Yeah, it's several of them. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like Tim Tebow did. What is y'all's opinion? Jacob, what's your opinion on that?
I think the only problem with Brandon Jacobs, I don't have a problem with him coming back. I mean, if you're gonna let Tebow come back, I think the only disadvantage on Brandon Jacobs is gonna be he's 39 years old.
But doesn't he want to change position?
He wants to play defensive end.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a name for the caller. Jumbo. We'll call him Jumbo. Okay, we're gonna call you Jumbo, caller.
That'll
my
work.
question is, because I didn't get a name, so I don't know what to call you. So, my question is, do they want to stay in the same positions that they actually were in before, or do they don't care? They just want to come back to positions? Because if they just want to come back and try out for the team, I think they have open calls in the NFL. You have open calls. You have to be invited, but put your name on that list, and you could come into that open call. And you know what? I don't see that there would be a problem with that personally. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, no, he's saying because he wants to come back
let him
as a...
answer.
Go ahead, caller.
No, I didn't say anything. I was listening.
Oh, go ahead. But no, that's why I'm asking you. Is that what you're asking is, do you think he should actually come back, or are those players get a chance or not get a chance? I really didn't understand.
I was looking for Jared's input on what he thought about Brandon Jacobs wanting to come back in. And he wants to come in as a defensive end instead of the running back that he was when he originally played in the NFL. But he also has been out for 8 years, just like Tim Tebow. But he's not getting any calls. He's not getting any recognition. And supposedly he's in just as good a shape as Tebow is. And again, what's Jared's opinion on that? And I'll hang up and listen.
No, well, I think if somebody needs a defensive end, you bring him in. I don't think you teach 6'5" and 240 or whatever it was. I wonder if maybe the NFL teams are looking around at the wear and tear that he has on him from playing running back for, I don't know, what was it, 5-6 years? But if you had a need and the guy wants to come in, I don't see a problem with it. I don't know why he's not getting phone calls other than maybe he failed a physical the last time he played or something. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't either. But I agree with what you're saying. I really do, because I think that if you have a need at that position, and like you said, you bringing in somebody with those kind of stats or that kind of reputation, and he wants to change. What was he, a running back or was he?
He was a running back.
Okay, so he was at running back and he wants to go to tight end. So look. You can't, and that's what I have a hard time with them talking about Tim Tebow. You're going to change, but you can't teach athleticism.
Yeah, and you can't teach. To me, a professional athlete's a professional athlete. I think the guy he could probably play.
He played for 8 years with the Giants, or with the Giants, the 49ers, and then went back to the Giants. He is 6'4" and 270.
Yeah, I mean he was a big dude. He was a load.
Right.
He won 2 Super Bowls. Unless he had some knee issues or maybe there's something that a team wouldn't see. I don't think age. Listen, we're living in an era where a 38-year-old guy just won the MVP of the league and a 43-year-old guy just won a 7th Super Bowl. I don't know that age. If I was a young guy in the NFL, I'd be embarrassed.
Because you have to live up to that.
Well, I mean, the age isn't a factor anymore for these guys. I would give him a shot if he wanted to come in. I mean,
and those people that keep saying don't give Tebow a shot. I don't understand. Yeah.
Who are you gonna bring in? Like, why would you not give a guy a shot that's 6'4", 270?
Right.
I mean, I guarantee you he's not built like a stack of mashed potatoes. I can assure you.
He's not built like me, so yeah. I mean.
Well, here.
No, that's
I think it's fine. I don't see an issue with it at all. Like I said, unless he had some kind of injuries or maybe failed physicals or something at the end of his career.
But I think the difference I think the problem with Tebow is the fact that where he went. I don't think this would be as much hoopla if he went to Seattle, if he went to Tennessee, anywhere else. But the fact that he went back to Jacksonville home and he played, and I think it's as much got to do with Meyer on why he's catching the heat.
So you telling me if Tim Tebow went and tried out for the New York Giants, you wouldn't have this hoopla, or L.A. or?
I don't think there would be as much.
Yeah, I think that just because it's Tim Tebow, you're going to have it because it is the news story. We're news media. We're media. We want to talk about that. That's what it's all about. That's what our job.
Well, you do. I want to talk about where Julio gonna wind up.
I'll give you the elephant in the room.
Okay.
He was a Heisman Trophy winner that wasn't good enough to play quarterback in the NFL. He prayed and it bothered people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like his claim to fame. The guy to me is success. I mean, everything he's ever done, he wanted to do, he done it. He would not have gotten invited to any other camp except for an Urban Meyer Jacksonville Jaguar camp.
Now that's proof because it didn't happen.
And that's my point.
I'm not saying he's not a fantastic athlete, but up until 6 weeks ago, he wanted to be a quarterback, and they have shown that he's not what they want in the NFL quarterback.
And I think the other thing is, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I think it's wonderful that he's getting an opportunity to try doing something else, whether he fails or not. But I don't think he's not a. How many guys have won Heisman trophies that were just better athletes? They were men playing with boys, got drafted in the NFL.
He didn't make it.
And never made it, and you never heard their name again. It never surfaced. They just nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can name a laundry list of guys that most of your Heisman Trophy winners now, especially at the quarterback position, aren't
in it.
they're not there. They're not there.
Well, I mean, you look at the situation. It was a perfect timing, and I'm going to just be. You've got a guy that I coached for years that was my best player that went on and did some amazing things off the field as he did on the field. He turned the locker room around. The game that he lost, and he come back and said, "We will never lose another game like this again." His words are enshrined on the walls at the University of Florida.
Sure.
So now he wants that because he has to. Urban Meyer has to completely turn that whole system around. So what better way to do it than bring somebody in that knows what he wants done, and then he can help him turn it around. Now, if, like you said at the very beginning, if Tebow ends up not making the team, or if Tebow ends up not doing anything, then it's going to be, oh crap. Urban Meyer was a waste.
But
And then-
nobody's talking about it. Not that I know of. But I'm in that professional wrestling business. You know that Shad Khan owns All Elite Wrestling, which is the second biggest wrestling company in the country. They've got their own show on TNT Wednesday nights, whatever, Dynamite. Their pay-per-view this last weekend, one of the matches was at the TAII, whatever. Bankfield. Urban Meyer actually gave one of the wrestlers a laptop to hit another guy with during the pay-per-view. What I'm getting at is they're selling this. I mean, Shad Khan, they're not idiots. I mean, they own the wrestling. They own Manchester United, I think, the soccer team.
And the stadium in England.
They're not very good football winning folks, but do I think that part of bringing Tebow in was what's the number one selling jersey right now?
Yeah, Tebow's jersey.
Exactly.
It's Tebow.
And I did touch on that.
Bought one. I just tell you that.
I'm sure you did. You're probably sleeping in it tonight.
No, I'm sleeping in yours.
So if
Waiting on yours to come out.
Yeah, if the guy makes $30,000 in the practice squad or whatever it is, he probably sold double that in
Yeah.
the shirts already.
But I've said that on previous shows. It's nothing against Tebow personally for me,
Yeah.
but one question someone asked me today was, if it wasn't Tim Tebow, would they have signed him?
No, and that's proof in what our caller just said. Our caller was saying there's somebody that's 6'4", 270 pounds.
A Super Bowl champion winner,
that is
2 times.
in as good a shape as Tebow is right now, and nobody will even give him back. It doesn't matter whether he's white or black or Hispanic or anything else. I think what it is I think it's the intangibles that go along with what Urban Meyer already knows, like I was just saying.
I'll say this. If I was Jacksonville and I could choose from Tebow or Brandon Jacobs, I'm bringing in Tebow because I know he's going to sell me tickets.
Yeah. Well, and he's going to continue to do that along with his work ethic.
But how many guys do you think are former NFL players that are like Ocho Cinco done it? I think he tried to make a comeback. Terrell Owens is still telling people he'll play. He's older than I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's probably a lot of guys out there that have their agents contact teams, say, I'd love to come out, and they don't. Brandon Jacobs isn't the first 39-year-old that wants to make a team that everybody's like, I don't have any.
Well, I think the mid-30s to early 40s now is the new 25 to 30.
Sure.
All right, Jen, we got to move on. Look. This is why we're going to have to start going to 2 hours because look,
we have a lot to talk about that we haven't talked
and
about.
We've already been going for almost an hour and 25 or 30 minutes.
Where do you think Julio winds up, real quick? And what do they get for him?
He goes.
I think he goes somewhere that nobody's talking about. I think he goes somewhere like the Rams. It's going to be somewhere like the Rams, maybe out west, somewhere the 49ers.
I could see the Rams.
It's going to happen.
I could see San Francisco.
J.J. Watt. Nobody knew he was going to Phoenix.
I think out west is like they're real competitive because all 4 teams or whatever they're neck and neck. So I think somebody out there ends up with him. Maybe the 49ers.
Does Atlanta get a 1?
Get a 1 for him?
Now, the Falcons have said they have had the offer for a number one.
Falcons can say whatever they want
drive
to
the
say.
cost up though by saying that.
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
you take a one.
Well, I
$15
think-
million against the.
I think now he will cost.
But you're split.
This year he's 15.3 million. Next year he's 15.5, 11.5 in 2023.
But as of today,
But-
they can split that. So
Well-
that's not costing them that much.
But
per
that's
year.
what I'm saying. Now that it's June 1st, I
Right.
think you're going to see that. The other day somebody was saying they're going to be lucky to get a 4 or 5.
No, I
think they're like Charles Barkley. That's stupid to say. You're fixing to get a Pro Bowl receiver or Hall of Fame receiver.
I think
And I pushing a one as a Falcon fan. Yeah, I would love to get a one.
maybe a conditional one.
But I would be glad with a 2.
how great would it be if he went to Phoenix?
I don't even know. Like you said earlier, I don't know if they keep him in the division. He may go AFC.
He may. I mean, Tennessee could use him.
Oh yeah, that's a big topic.
Raiders could use him.
Raiders could use him.
Well, they're all. Look, guys, we go on with this all day long, but we've got to move on. And everyone. Look, almost anybody in the NFL could use Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for him? Who's he going to be satisfied?
Well, he heard his value today. He said he possibly wants a new deal. That's going to hurt.
I think Atlanta's in rebuild, retool mode, and he's not part of their future. Not at 32.
And Matt Ryan's not part of their future either, and then he get rid of him. So anyway, so let's move
Mama
on.
T ain't got rid of you.
30 years is still holding, baby. So, all right. We're going to go to a little bit of high school around here for those of you that aren't from around here. Berrien County High School, which is our new helmet right here. Berrien County High School, which just happens to be where Jared's actually from, and he actually works up in that area. We won't say where or what he does unless he wants to do that. And what I'd like to do is extend the offer if you'll extend the offer to them, we want to bring them on the show like we did with Lowndes. Now, all that being said, let me say this. We have offered for the Valdosta Wildcats to come on our show, just like we did with Lowndes County Vikings. We have offered several other places, but Valdosta's here. That's where we're at right now. So we've given them an offer. We're waiting to see if they're actually going to get back in touch with us. That was out last week. And who'd you send it to, Jimmy?
Touchdown Club president.
Okay.
Maybe he sent it to Prost and he didn't get it.
Well, that's a different story. And so you're from Berrien County.
Yeah.
And
Home of the Rebels.
home of the Rebels, and you have a special tie to them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead, bring it out. Who is you have a 5 foot? Now he's 5'4", 110-pound quarterback at Berrien County High School. Is that correct?
Those are old stats.
Oh,
He's
5'5" now.
I think he's 5. Yeah, he's
No,
5'3" and a quarter. No,
5'3", but they're saying
5'9".
5'10", with the
5'10".
lineup showing as 5'10".
Yeah, he's about 145.
145.
Yeah, my
pounds, but-
son plays quarterback there. He's one of the two. He'll be a junior next year. They've gotten a lot better on both sides of the ball. Berrien County sports is typically, for those that don't know, softball's really, really big. If we don't make a Sweet 16 in state, it's a down year.
So just
Tennis.
as you're saying that, my wife and her sisters were all on that state championship team that they had.
Yeah. See, tennis, runner-up state, lost to private schools both times in AA. We're probably the largest AA school in the state. We're like 80 kids away from moving up to AAA, which would benefit football, but it would hurt the other sports. So Region 1 AA, which is what Berrien's in, is a absolute buzzsaw for football. You got Thomasville, Fitzgerald, Brooks until this year. They moved down to single A. Cook came back down. Early and Worth, they're all in the Region 1 AA. Well, Early's usually up. They're a good team. Cook's always good. Thomasville is really good, and Fitzgerald played for the state title. So you're in that region with those guys. I mean, it's tough football. I mean,
You've got to be able to play. For those of you that don't know, all those teams in that area usually get to the Final 2 or the Final 4 every year.
Well, all 4 of the teams that we sent to the playoffs this year won a playoff game, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, Thomasville went on, and Fitzgerald went on, and Fitzgerald actually played for the state title. But They're I call it a buzzsaw, man. It's absolute. And then when Brooks was there too, because Brooks moved down, thankfully.
But then you got to go through Buford.
Yeah.
I mean, the University of Buford, they bring in kids from all over the place.
So, but our football team, we've got, Coach Alligood, this is going to be his 4th year trying to build the program up. Coach Davis, who came from Lowndes, Dipper, really good offensive mind. This is our first year having the same offense twice, 2 years in a row. And we played Clinch 2 weeks ago on a Friday night, beat them 7-6 in a scrimmage game. I know people don't put a lot of stock in that. But on both sides of the ball, the line of scrimmage, we dominated the game, which hasn't been our forte in Berrien.
And you play clinch?
Yeah.
And that's got to be big. I mean, clinch is annually in the playoffs and goes deep.
Clinches and a ham and egger, I mean, they usually come in, and I'll tell you, our sophomore class, which will be juniors, and then our freshman class will be sophomores. I mean, that JV team the last 2 years, we went 4-2, and then I think 2-2 the year before that. They all stayed together. They played. And a lot of what happens up there where we're at is kids get into other stuff. They got baseball. We got a really good baseball program. You start picking because it's so hard. You know how it is.
Yeah.
If you're going to be really good at a sport, you got to stay with it. It's year-round. Baseball is year-round. Football is year-round. You may can do other things, but you've got to really focus on it, and that's what kind of happens. So you lose some of those. Well, those underclassmen are all moving up a grade, and none of them have went away. The big boys of 8, they've gotten bigger. I see them in the hallways, and so we're faster. We're winning the line of scrimmage because I don't care what you have on touching the ball. If you can't block or put pressure on them, you can bid the mob good day. So I think it's going to be a better year this year coming up. They know what to expect. Like I said, the offense second go around. A couple of kids, Tennessee's looking at them. Troy, we got some athletes, and they play as a team. Nobody's watching one guy. He gets the ball, and then everybody, you got 10 guys watching him. We don't have that. Everybody knows their job. So it could be a really good year. I think, nobody better sleep on them.
Well, here's my thing. If you'll do this, you'll extend the offer to them. We will bring the show to Berrien County, and the coach and maybe some of their people that run their touchdown club or their quarterback club or whatever, extend that offer to them, and again, we'll come there. All we ask is a helmet.
Okay.
That's it. And I mean, we'll afford them the same opportunity we gave Lowndes. We'll give Camden, and those are the 7A, the big schools. We'll afford them the exact same opportunities and the same time and everything. And we'll find a restaurant there.
I know their AD a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up from there. And this Thursday, we're going to be at Mama June's. We're out here at Jojo's right now. Come by and get some food. And our caller, Chris said he got the name of the caller, so he'll be able to get that caller gets that $30. It'll be up here at the front with them. And all you got to do is come up and give him your name, and you'll have that $30 at the front there. So,
and this potato's huge. I'll probably still be eating it Thursday by the time we get there.
He's still going at it weird.
It's going to be a midnight snack.
Good. Hey, I'm telling you, it's good. This and the tater tots, man, they were awesome.
Oh, that's right. I thought you were staying away from
I'm
cars.
trying to stay away from you. Showing me my face, literally, man.
Literally.
It's like a wedding over there when you shoving that damn steaks.
I'm the groom.
Oh, hey, this
And
is
you married.
short story. I did on my wedding day. I actually did that to my wife, which you all know, which is
Well, he was
Mama T.
pointing at you.
And my Mama T went in the house and refused to come out for the rest of the services. And she stayed there. She said, "Look," she told her mom, "I'm getting divorced." And we weren't married 10 minutes. I shoved the cake in her face, and she was done already. So that's why I had to do it to somebody else. I got to get
me some money.
Yeah, 8 years every time. He's an 8
We'll
years.
talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So anyway, so we're going to be, I'm not going to be at Mama June's. Mama T is actually coming back. She's going to be at Mama June's, and Jimmy's going to be there. Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
So look at that. We're going to have a lineup over at Mama June's. I'll be back next week. Then I go back out of town for a couple more weeks. So this cat will be sitting in on. If you enjoyed this as a conversation, then hit us up. If you didn't, then delete us from your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube. But
But,
We
you,
don't-
but you liked it, so you're not going to.
Yeah, okay, all right, he's gonna put it that way. So everybody, give us remember our phone numbers are 912-674-0098, and what's the other one, Jimmy?
For
For the show.
the show,
Yeah.
call-in number is 229-252-2521.
Those will actually be also airing. They'll be actually on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And come up here to Mama June's, or go to Mama June's and come up here to Jojo's and get some great food, man.
252-2521. I can remember that because 25-year-olds and 21-year-olds.
Oh man, shut up!
They get Urban Meyer all the time.
They do. They make him have heart
I've been
attacks,
calling
don't
that number
they?
myself.
It cost him some coaching jobs.
Yeah, it did.
It happened.
All right, guys, we're gonna leave it with that. Definitely gonna leave that alone, and we'll catch you at Mama June's on Thursday night.